The signal had been broadcasting for 300 years when Dr. Elena Vasquez first detected it at the Arecibo successor station on Luna. Buried beneath cosmic background radiation, it pulsed with mathematical precision, a cry for help written in the universal language of physics. "It's not random," she told the emergency session of the United Earth Council. "The pattern suggests coordinates, medical data, and a timer." The timer was counting down. 18 months remained. Within days, every major power on Earth had decoded the message. The Kethmoran Empire, once spanning 47 star systems, was dying. A plague had swept through their worlds, turning their advanced biology against itself. Their immune systems, evolved over millennia to perfection, had become hyperactive, attacking their own bodies until their victims wasted away. The message was clear. They had 18 months before the last of their kind would perish. They were broadcasting their location, their medical data, everything they knew about the plague. It wasn't a request for help. It was a final gift to the universe, hoping someone, somewhere, might learn from their fate. Every species in the galaxy had received the signal. The proud Zalithians, masters of bioengineering, analyzed it for 3 days before declaring the plague mathematically impossible to cure. The ancient Vorthak collective, beings of pure energy who had transcended physical form eons ago, dismissed it as the inevitable fate of inferior flesh-bound creatures. The warlike Kreks examined it for potential weapons applications, then lost interest when they realized the plague was non-transmissible to their silicon-based physiology. One by one, species across the galaxy received the signal, decoded it, and moved on. The Kethmoran were simply another extinction event in a universe that had seen countless civilizations rise and fall. Only humanity answered. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the USV Perseverance, humanity's fastest deep space vessel, as it dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kethmoran home system. What they found defied every projection their scientists had made. The system was magnificent and dying. Massive ring worlds orbited the central star, their surfaces covered in sprawling cities that stretched beyond the horizon. Garden worlds hung like emeralds in the void, their continents painted in colors that had no names in human languages. Space elevators reached from planetary surfaces to orbital platforms that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. But the lights were going out. Population scans show less than 10 million life signs across all worlds, reported Commander Torres from the sensor station. 12 months ago, our long-range observations suggested billions. Dr. Michael Harrison, the expedition's chief medical officer, reviewed the data streaming from their probe. The plague progresses faster than their projections indicated. We have weeks, not months. Chen nodded grimly. She'd volunteered for this mission knowing it might be hopeless, but seeing the scope of what they were losing made her chest tighten. An entire civilization, their art, their science, their dreams, would vanish forever. "Captain," came a weak transmission from the planet below. The universal translator struggled with the alien syntax. "We detected your arrival. You are the first to come." The speaker was Zenthkar, once High Curator of the Central Archives. When they met him in person, Chen was struck by how fragile he appeared. The Kethmoran were tall, elegant beings with crystalline bones visible beneath translucent skin. But the plague had turned Zenthkar's bones black, and his movements were slow, labored. "Why did you come?" he asked, genuine curiosity overriding his pain. "Our data showed the plague cannot affect your species. There is nothing here for you." Chen exchanged glances with Dr. Harrison. They'd debated this question during the 8-month journey. "Because you called for help," she said, simply. Zenthkar's large, multifaceted eyes seemed to shimmer. "But we cannot be saved. Your own analysis confirmed this." "Maybe," Harrison interjected, unpacking his medical equipment. "But humans have a saying, it's not over until it's over. We'd like to try anyway." What followed was 3 weeks of the most intensive medical research in human history. Every cure they attempted failed. The plague was indeed beyond their current understanding, a biological weapon created by the Keth-Moran's own extinct enemies, designed specifically to turn their evolutionary advantages into weaknesses. But humanity had something the other species lacked, a particular kind of stubborn optimism. "What if we can't cure them?" suggested Dr. Lisa Park during one of their evening strategy sessions. "What if we preserve them instead?" The idea was audacious. Cryogenic preservation was still experimental for humans, and they knew nothing about Keth-Moran physiology. But as their hope for a cure faded, it became their only option. Working around the clock, human engineers collaborated with dying Keth-Moran scientists to adapt the technology. They couldn't save their civilization, but they could save their people, placing them in suspended animation until a cure could be found. "How long might we sleep?" Zenthkar asked as he prepared to enter the first prototype chamber. "We don't know," Chen admitted. "Decades, centuries, maybe longer." "And you will continue searching for a cure?" Chen looked at the thousands of chambers they'd constructed across the Keth-Moran worlds, each one representing a life preserved, a hope maintained. "For as long as it takes." The last message humanity received from the dying Keth-Moran Empire was not a cry for help, but a note of gratitude written in mathematics. "We never believed anyone would come. Thank you for proving us wrong." 500 years later, Dr. Elena Vasquez Kim descended from her research ship onto the surface of New Keth-Mora, a garden world humanity had terraformed specifically for their sleeping guests. In her hands, she carried a small device, the culmination of 5 centuries of research, built with knowledge gained from studying 17 different alien species who had joined humanity's quest. The cure. Behind her, 10,000 cryogenic chambers hummed with life, waiting to be awakened. And across the galaxy, other species watched in amazement as humanity prepared to resurrect an entire civilization simply because someone had asked for help. It was, they noted in their histories, such a remarkably human thing to do.